YouTubers, Max18363 here, and this is part 6 of my narrated Quake 4 playthrough. So this is going to be a kind of quieter level. There isn't really any combat as such in this level. It's kind of just storyline and briefing.
You are Corporal Kane of Rhino Squad. Welcome aboard the Hannibal. You aren't expected at the briefing for a while. Feel free to look around the ship. Continue on through the hangar and report to decontamination.
We actually returned to this ship a couple of times throughout the game, I suppose you could say it.
The MBLBs weren't built for this kind of punishment.
It sort of acts like a hub, I suppose, between sort of different parts of the game. There's kind of like 3 main parts of the game. So basically we'll be getting briefed up for the next operation, if you like, to take out the stroke communications, but we'll get to that a bit later.
Left, back, and stop. Okay, so what's the problem with this beast?
The back shield's cut out.
Run a diagnostic on the
We actually get to ride in one of those machines a bit later in the game, but it's not a particularly good section, but we'll get to that when we come there.
Okay, Marine. Time to kill anything that's not you.
Flooding chamber with trichlorite and ceftazine. Chamber at maximum saturation. Purging chamber. Decontamination cycle complete.
You're clean. Come on through.
Those of you with a good memory will probably remember that scene is basically identical to the start of Doom 3, basically.
Private Mark Lorenzi, please report to medical base 3.
Very similar scene in Doom 3 where you have to go through a kind of similar purging chamber, if you will.
Heard the mechanics are prepping 4 heavy trucks.
So, what does that mean?
Not sure. But with that many trucks, HQ's planning something.
Can't talk right now.
I heard the Strogg attacked Earth because it's a strategic location. From our planet, they'd be able to get at dozens of other civilizations. I've also heard that the Strogg are super soldiers left over from some major war in another part of the galaxy. Someone else told me the Strogg are the next step in human evolution. When you think about how much we rely on technology, maybe that's not too far from being right.
It's actually quite an interesting point, that.
I told you these systems are finicky.
These systems are ancient.
Tell me about it. My grandfather served on this ship right out of boot camp.
Think they'd retire the old girl. Well, old or not, we gotta fix her. I'm a little busy right now.
Lieutenant Voss, report to briefing room 8.
I feel that's quite an interesting point actually when you think about humanity as a whole and how we're so reliant on technology now. It's all blueberries and iPhones and it's all wireless, this and high tech
in that area due to Strogg interference.
But a Strogg unit is headed directly for Cougar Squad.
Sorry, there's nothing we can do, Corporal.
Then they're all dead men. Richard's out.
There are of course numerous films and books and games that kind of hint on those topics of just how reliant mankind is.
Indeed. The nanites infesting the muscle are repairing the tissue even after it's separated from the body.
Basically just how reliant we are on technology, and when that technology is taken away from us, we basically crumble.
Biomechanical implants. Look at this. And this. Why would they do that?
The procedure for attaching the implants is evidently quite traumatic. The subject must be kept alive by a combination of steroids and health packs. It won't work, Jacobson. The exoskeleton is hardened tribinium.
Nonsense. These saws cut through marine body armor. Should have no trouble with this Strogg metal.
Memorial services for Colonel Westmore will be held at 0800 hours.
Indeed. I just have to press a little harder. Just heard we're moving up to the front. Our whole platoon is being mobilized.
Must be some major offensive in the works. They're getting all kinds of mechanized infantry prepped in the walker base.
I got a real bad feeling about this one.
Oh, you get a real bad feeling all the time.
You want me to do what?
Reroute the energy stabilizers. Wait 2 seconds and then... The hit will cause the system to depolarize.
But I could burn out every circuit on this deck.
Kid, I know what this ship can and can't do.
All right.
Power restored in 3, 2, 1.
It worked!
Of course it worked. Now recalibrate that console, then get back here.
The city of Portsmouth is scheduled to have
Hey,
temperatures in the low
you're
to
Matthew
mid-70s
Kane, aren't you?
with
No
rain
way.
I saw you when they brought you back from Space Station Armstrong.
Fighting squad
You look like you'd been mauled by a dozen pit bulls.
I thought Matthew Kane was just a story they made up to scare recruits.
No, he's real. And he's standing right in front of us. You don't remember me, do you? I was one of the orderlies at the hospital when they wheeled you in from Armstrong.
Therefore, average temperatures will be in the mid to upper 40s.
So you're really him, huh? Can you say what happened to the rest of your squad on that space station?
So the Macron's dead, eh? The Marine who iced that squib deserves a chest full of medals and a year's R&R. You heard the Macron was killed, right? You know, the leader of the Strogg? Some Marine managed to work his way behind enemy lines and frag the Macron. What I wouldn't give to see a vid of that fight.
And that guy is, of course, referring to Quake 2. That was the storyline in a nutshell for Quake 2. The lone Marine punching through enemy lines and taking out the Macron, who's the big boss, the big cheese of the entire Stroke community, I suppose you could say.
Interesting.
Yeah, I kind of lose my bearings a wee bit in this sometimes.
Private Mark Lorenzi, please report to medical bay.
Kind of reminds me, you know what this ship reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of the remake for Battlestar Galactica.
Not here.
Just a little bit.
Not here either.
It's like a sort of a high-tech ship, but it's also really old. You can see that it's kind of in repair and falling apart at
I
times.
was assured by Lieutenant Pierce it's completely dead.
You remember this morning? They told us that one was dead too.
That I'll never forget.
We had a rather unpleasant experience with our last Strogg cadaver. It attacked us. All higher brain functions have atrophied, which indicates the subject was incapable of independent thought. The transceiver located at the base of the skull shows almost all action was dictated by an external source. I believe for a short time after Stroggification, the subject was aware of his actions but was unable to control them. Chilling scenario, to say the least.
Such a shame, because some people just plough through this level, not even pick up half the dialogue that's going on, and yet I think that's absolutely fascinating. Some of the little snippets that you get about the Strogg.
But the HB-607 has internal compensators, and the XK-1000 doesn't.
I know that. But if you'd read the manual, you'd know the XK-1000 has primary and secondary converters.
What kind of converters?
Radcliffe 12s. They operate at 25 milliamps.
25 milliamps isn't nearly enough.
You're crazy. Maybe if you use a GMOS splitter, but those are highly unstable.
Could you be any more misinformed? GMOS is the wave of the future.
That's ludicrous. GMOS is a fad. Reformatable case splitters will soon be the norm.
And of course, no high-tech ship is complete without their resident geeks.
Corporal Matthew Kane, the rest of the Rhino squad has already arrived. The briefing will commence shortly.
So now this is basically the briefing for the next few levels. So a bit of an information download there, so I'll just let you watch.
Looks like Kane made it back.
Quit giving him shit, Dell. Kane's all right.
As you were. Rhino Squad, the following is highly classified and is not to be spoken of outside these walls. The death of the Macron couldn't have come at a better time. It's imperative we press that advantage, which is the reason for our next operation. Lieutenant Voss, take over.
Intelligence Division has discovered that the Strogg function through a massive communication system called the Nexus. With it, Strogg leaders can instantly send instructions to soldiers in the field. And although it's their strength, it's also their Achilles heel. Our target, known as the Hub, houses major communication lines to the Nexus. We will be escorting a convoy carrying an electromagnetic bomb to a sub-level of this building. The convoy will proceed to the designated position and detonate it. The blast will overload a device known as the Tetranode and effectively cut off the Strogg forces from the Nexus and therefore their commanders. To ensure success, 3 other squads will be escorting additional EMPs to the same location. Their convoys are codenamed War, Famine, and Pestilence.
Which means we are death.
Yeah, we're death. Any questions? The convoy will be deployed soon. Go to the armory and suit up. Dismissed.
Private Mark Lorenzi, please report to Medical Bay 3.
You've done some good work today, Corporal. Lieutenant Boss had a feeling about you. Said you'd be trouble, but you'd be worth it. The lieutenant's never wrong.
The Nexus sounds most intriguing. To be able to process the thoughts of billions of Strogg would require technology that is many generations beyond us.
You've surprised a lot of people today. You've stood shoulder to shoulder with Rhino Squad and survived. Congratulations.
Kane, when we first dropped on Strogos, I was certain you wouldn't last a day with the Rhino Squad. I am pleased to say, I was incorrect.
Just who are they gonna call in when the life of every man, woman, and child on Earth hangs in the balance? Rhino Squad, of course.
Really? I thought it was Ghostbusters we called. Never mind.
Boss, report to briefing room 8.
It's kind of funny how all of a sudden your squad mates love you.
Has one guy thrown over his shoulder and is barking out orders as he blazes away with a rifle in his hand. The man was a freaking machine.
What squad was he with?
I'm not sure, but he was protecting some obnoxious computer tech.
I mean, the first few levels they're taking bets on how long you'll live, and now they're like, oh yeah, you've done well today, Kane. Whoa, whoa, yeah, you've surprised us all. Talk about
Hey, Marine, you're gonna need this. The extended clip should help in taking down the squibs. Hannibal, I need a medic.
Who are you? I'm not able to get a reading on your med chip.
Corporal Thomas Alvarez. My med chip is damaged.
But that chip's implanted near your heart.
I know. I'm looking at it right now.
Corporal Kane, your ride to the convoy is waiting for you. Step on through.
Memorial services for Colonel Westmore will be held at 0800 hours.
There'll be a bit more action in the next chapter, I promise. Get to kill some Stroggs, so...
You gotta love the Marine Corps. Sure, the pay ain't the greatest and the chow tastes like crap, but where else am I gonna make a living blowing shit up?
Crew Chief Hanks, call 232.
Just think of it. Rhino Squad is participating in a mission that would turn the tide of this war. We will be saving the human race.
So, till the next time, stay safe.